The true Antony Prime is back.
Bate, chute cruzado, é pro Antony! Gol!
But behind the memes, the flashy skills, and the iconic celebrations, there's a story of pain, doubt, rejection.
O que é passado em Manchester, só eu sei como foi difícil.
And ultimately, redemption. A story that proves football is not only about goals and trophies, but about resilience, faith, and the will to rise when the world counts you out. When Antony signed for Manchester United, he was supposed to be the future. A winger bought for almost 100 million euros, chosen by Erik ten Hag himself, a player who had dazzled at Ajax with flair, creativity, and a fearless spirit. The Premier League was supposed to be the stage where he would prove himself as one of the very best. But in England, things went terribly wrong. Every step he took was under the spotlight. Every missed chance was amplified. Every bad game turned into a headline. He became a constant target for memes, mocked by rivals, questioned by his own fans, and doubted by almost everyone. And slowly, Antony began to lose what made him special. The confidence, the joy, the smile, gone. He admitted in interviews that he felt lost, discouraged, and almost disconnected from football. The weight of the price tag, the criticism from the press, and the pressure of being at a club like Manchester United drained him. The boy from São Paulo, who dreamed of conquering Europe, suddenly found himself drowning in negativity. For many, that would have been the end of the story. Another talented winger destroyed by the pressure of the Premier League. But football always finds a way to surprise us. And for Antony, salvation came in the most unexpected of places: Seville. In early 2025, he joined Real Betis on loan. To many, it was just a desperate move. Manchester United wanted to get rid of him, and Betis was simply taking a gamble. The Spanish press reported the deal, but there was no real excitement. Few believed Antony could change anything. But what happened next would shock everyone. At Betis, Antony was not the 100 million euro signing. He was not the subject of endless criticism. He was simply a player trying to prove himself again, and that made all the difference. From the very first games, something was different. The weight was gone. He was free. He played without fear, without hesitation, with the confidence that had disappeared in England. The dribbles returned, the creativity returned, and slowly, the joy returned. For the first time in years, Antony was smiling on the pitch again. And with joy came results. He became one of Betis' most dangerous players, delivering goals, assists, and moments of brilliance. In La Liga, he was a constant threat to defenders, but it was in Europe where his story reached another level. Against all odds, Real Betis made a magical run in the UEFA Conference League, and at the heart of it was Antony. Match after match, he stepped up, delivering decisive contributions. His speed, his dribbling, his vision, they all came together when the team needed him most. And suddenly, the same player who had been laughed at in England was carrying Betis to the final of a European competition. The fans who had doubted him were now in love. The chants grew louder, the support stronger. Seville embraced him, not as an outsider, but as one of their own. And Antony, in return, gave everything for the shirt. But while the fairy tale was unfolding on the pitch, off the pitch there was drama. Because no matter how much he succeeded, Antony was still a Manchester United player. The loan deal meant that when the season ended, he was supposed to go back. And for weeks, nobody knew what would happen. The fans feared the worst. Rumors spread that United might recall him, or that other clubs were watching his progress. Headlines speculated endlessly. Would Antony's journey at Betis be just a short chapter? Or could the club somehow make the deal permanent? For Antony, the answer was clear. He had rediscovered himself in Spain. He wanted to stay. He said it openly. He felt happy. He felt alive. He felt like Betis had given him his career back. But football is not always about what players want. negotiations are messy, and the reality was that Betis did not have the financial power of a giant like United. The tension was unbearable. Every week, the question grew louder. Will he stay or will he go? For the fans, losing him would feel like losing more than a player. It would mean losing hope, losing the man who had made them dream again. And then, after months of uncertainty, the news finally came. Real Betis had done the impossible. Against all odds, against all expectations, they had found a way to make the deal permanent. Antony was officially theirs. The announcement was met with pure joy. In Seville, fans celebrated as if they had won a trophy. For them, this was not just a transfer. It was a victory of belief, a proof that passion and determination can overcome obstacles, a moment that would forever be remembered in the club's history. For Antony, it was more than that. It was redemption, a symbol that he could rise again, that he could prove his doubters wrong, that he could turn rejection into triumph. From the despair of Manchester to the celebration of Seville, this was the comeback he had dreamed of. Now, Antony's story takes a new turn. At Betis, he is not the expensive flop. He is not the target of memes. He is a leader, a symbol of resilience, and one of the most exciting players in La Liga. His journey is no longer about surviving. It is about thriving. And beyond Betis, doors are opening again. For Brazil, the national team is always searching for players who can make a difference, who can bring flair and unpredictability. If Antony continues this path, the yellow shirt could call his name once more. But even if that day never comes, Antony has already achieved something more important. He has won back his confidence. He has regained his love for the game. He has proven to himself that he is stronger than criticism, stronger than doubt, stronger than the weight of failure. This is what makes Antony's story so powerful. It's not just about football. It's about life, about falling, about suffering, and about getting back up again, about rediscovering who you are when the world tells you that you're finished. So when you watch Antony now, flying down the wing in the green and white of Betis, remember the road that brought him here. Remember the pain of Manchester. Remember the doubt, the ridicule, the despair. And then remember how he answered with courage, with resilience, and with football that makes people believe again. Because maybe, just maybe, this is the true Antony Prime. Not the boy at Ajax, not the expensive signing at United, but the man who fell, refused to give up, and found his light again in Seville.